WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Governor Tate Reeves announces a shelter-in-place order for the state of Mississippi. With over 1,000 COVID-19 cases reported in Mississippi, the Department of Health says the state has reached a critical point in the cycle of the outbreak. The shelter-in-place order means all non-essential businesses are to stop all activities and let as many folks work from home as possible. Restaurants and bars are able to be open, but only for drive-through or curbside service. Grocery stores will stay open. Reeves says state and local law enforcement will also be working to enforce the rules of social distancing and crowds, but the governor says the bigger enforcer to combat the spread is the people of Mississippi. The governor's shelter in place will again force change in our daily life and routines. The new order prohibits any non-essential business or unnecessary travel, excluding grocery store runs, gas stations, any type of health emergency, and things of that nature. It also means absolutely no gatherings of more than 10 people at any establishment or even at your own home. Our legal analyst, Jeff Hosford, breaks it down to people using common sense over the next few weeks.
A place where people can gather and there's a large likelihood of spreading a virus will definitely be non-essential. Plants that produce products that are essential for everyday life, those are going to continue to be open because those have to be made in order for us to survive. Truckers, they're going to have to go to work. It's just a list of things you need. If you think about it, I mean, things that everyone needs to live are going to remain open.
The shelter-in-place order starts Friday and will continue until April 20th. A 90-year-old woman being treated in Amory for the coronavirus has died. Monroe County Coroner Alan Gurley posted a video making the announcement on his official Facebook page. The woman, whose name is not being released, was being treated at North Mississippi Medical Center Gilmore Amory. Gurley says a test performed by the State Department of Health confirmed the cause of death. He hopes more people will treat COVID-19 more seriously.
Just wanted to put this information out there to help the public, warn the public. We've got to start being more careful here.
The case is Monroe County's first coronavirus death. Mississippi sees a large increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. The Mississippi State Department of Health reports 136 new positive tests. This brings the state's total to 1,073. 22 people have died in the state from the virus. 333 people are hospitalized. Lowndes, Oktibbeha, and Winston counties have seen a slight increase in the number of cases. Health officials report that the age group with the most cases are between 40 and 49. Most deaths have been people over the age of 70, and 58% of the patients in the state are women. Alabama is reporting 1,077 cases of COVID-19. There are no new cases locally in Lamar and Pickens counties. Tuscaloosa County is now reporting 30 positive coronavirus tests. Jefferson County is reporting nearly 300 cases. Around this time of year, students and teachers are finishing their work for the school year, but that isn't the case this year. COVID-19 has forced schools all over the country to shut down for the time being. WCBI's Bobby Martinez spoke to local teachers and students on how they're adjusting to the new ways of learning. He joins us now live from Columbus High School. Bobby.
Good evening, Joey. In a time of social distancing, we are also in a time of distancing learning, and teacher, parents, and students are doing all they can to adjust to the new reality.
I will be signing an executive order which closes all public schools until April the 17th.
School is no longer in session for the time being due to the COVID-19 outbreak, placing students, teachers, and parents in uncharted territory. Here in Mississippi, with schools to remain closed until April 20th, Leanne Long, an adjunct professor at Mississippi State University, says the transition to online learning has gone quite well.
Not seeing me twice a week, I teach on Tuesday, Thursday, I think has been an adjustment for them, and it's an adjustment for me. Moving into a completely online world. So that's has been a little bit of a transition, but we've had face-to-face Zoom meetings so that they're comfortable.
Not only is Long a teacher by day, she is also a mother of two and says her and her husband are doing all they can to make sure their children are learning each day.
Getting our English and math with the resources that the school district, Starkville School District, has offered us has been plentiful.
But in the midst of it all, children will soon ask questions about the coronavirus. And to Long, she says that is the toughest part of being a parent today.
We're not going to sugarcoat them about what's going on. They hear it while we're watching the news, and we want to be informed as well, but also letting them know what the virus is, that we're not going out very much, we're staying here, we're germ-maxing, we're washing our hands.
As for students, Cole Morris, freshman at Itawamba Community College, said the transition to online has been difficult.
Rough, because I'm the type of person that I need someone to stand up there and I need someone to teach it to me instead of me teaching myself about it. And it's just been, it's hard, it's a challenge.
And the governor also announced today he is unsure if he will extend the April deadline. For now, live in Columbus, Bobby Martinez, WCBI News.
Weather-wise here today, absolutely gorgeous. Look at our Alpha Insurance camera network in Columbus and Tupelo, Louisville, and Vernon. A few friendly, wispy cirrus clouds out there. Maybe a nice sunset here this evening. We've got upper 60s to around 70 on the old thermometer right now. We'll be cooling down into the mid-50s by 9 o'clock. Upper 40s in some locales here by 11. Lows tonight down into the lower 40s in many spots. Now, we're going to duplicate this again for your Thursday. Abundant sunshine, a few friendly clouds, highs in the lower 70s. How long will it last? I'll let you know coming up in your full forecast in just a few more minutes.
New at 6, the man killed in an officer-involved shooting in Columbus has been identified. 19-year-old Austin Heinz died at the scene in North Columbus this morning. Heinz was arrested in February and charged with felony taking of a motor vehicle, assault on a law enforcement officer, and felony escape. Our Cash Matlock was on the scene this morning and brings us the latest on the investigation.
After striking several vehicles along the way and injuring an officer, witnesses say an early morning high-speed chase ended right here on the railroad tracks near 22nd Street North and Strawberry Street.
Officers from the Lowndes County Sheriff Department were involved in the pursuit of a stolen vehicle within the city limits. Officers of the Columbus Police Department then assisted in the pursuit.
Sources tell WCBI the chase started around 8 a.m. on Ridge Road and continued onto Waterworks Road.
During the pursuit, the subject struck several other vehicles. The chase ended at Strawberry Street and 22nd North.
Once on Strawberry Street, it appears the suspect tried to drive the stolen vehicle down the nearby train tracks.
The suspect wrecked the stolen vehicle and exited the car.
After getting out of the truck, the white male suspect attempted to climb into a sheriff's deputy's truck. That's when he was shot and killed.
Mississippi Bureau of Investigation has arrived to investigate an officer-involved shooting.
No officers were injured during the shooting. Reporting in Columbus, Cash Matlock, WCBI News.
Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant says Heinz will be taken to the state medical examiner's office for an autopsy. In other news, today Columbus police are searching for at least one gunman after a shooting in East Columbus. Police Chief Fred Shelton says at least one car was hit by bullets. The shooting happened in the area of McCall Drive and Robinwood Circle this afternoon. No injuries were reported. Shelton says officers are searching for a white Ford Escort and a blue Chevy Malibu. If you have any information, call Golden Triangle Crime Stoppers.
A local radio station changes its playlist for one day to bring hope to people during this global pandemic. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
Welcome back, everyone. It may be April 1st, but a radio station's decision to scrap its playlist was no April Fool's prank. Allie Martin has more on the decision to have a very sunny Christmas in the spring.
Sunny 93.3, part of the Mississippi Radio Group, is taking a break from its usual playlist, and they're playing Christmas music for one day. It's part of an effort to bring some happiness and cheer to people during these uncertain times.
Can't have Christmas without Blue Christmas by the Man. Here's Elvis.
Have a blue Christmas.
Christmas.
Starting at midnight, Sunny 93.3 went to an all-Christmas format for 24 hours.
Funny deal? What's your favorite color?
North Mississippi's Christmas station is Sunny 93.3.
The idea came from a listener who enjoys hearing Christmas songs on the station from Thanksgiving through December 25th. The one-day Christmas music marathon featured some fan favorites.
We had one of our Yule Duels where we play the same Christmas song, 4 different versions once an hour, and people go online and vote to see what the best version is. So we've done that today, just like we do during the regular A Very Sunny Christmas, and reaction's been great.
Host Tom Brown, who is heard every morning on Sunny 93.3, even decorated his studio for the occasion and donned Christmas attire. The station didn't promote the one-day format change in advance. It was just a way to lift people's spirits during a worldwide emergency.
But we've had a lot of fun with it. We just wanted for one day to break through and to have people listen to the radio and just smile, because Christmas really truly should be a spirit. We talk about that at Christmas. Christmas should be a spirit all year. Well, we need that spirit right now.
Thanks to the miracle of modern technology, A Very Sunny 93 Christmas in April is being heard not only in this area but around the world. Tom Brown received a message from someone in the United Kingdom who said they appreciate the music of hope during this global crisis. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Now, Brown is also known to many people as the host of Elvis festivals in Tupelo and Nashville. He also has a YouTube show called Gates of Graceland. Well, Keith, certainly didn't feel like Christmas out there either today.
No, a great day weather-wise here, and we can enjoy a great day on tap for our Thursday here. Temperatures back into the low 70s. Another good day to get out there and do some yard chores. I'm back with your full forecast coming up next.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
We're in April right now. This is April 1st. Of course, this is the busiest month as far as tornadoes go. We peak in Mississippi. This is the Mississippi tornado history. Obviously, April is the peak month. And it's basically the same story in Alabama, too. We peak in April. There's a mini peak in November for winter severe weather season. But April is the real deal. Those big, violent tornadoes, if they're going to occur, will tend to happen this month. And climatology says the highest odds of a tornado this time of year on April 1st, right here in the deep south, Mississippi and Alabama. As we get into the latter part of the month, April 30th, we are still in this high risk zone, obviously, but the highest odds of a tornado will start to shift back to the northwest, and that will continue as we get into May and the summer months. So between now and mid-May, we just have to be watching out for Mother Nature, but a great day in store for us here on Thursday. Maybe you're staying home working from your home office. Temperatures will be in the 40s initially in the morning, around 7 o'clock by the afternoon into the lower 70s. Things are looking pretty good. We've got high pressure and firm control of our weather right now. That in general will be with us here for our Thursday, but it's going to scoot off to the east a little bit. So we'll see a few more clouds. There will be some clouds and some moisture, a frontal boundary back to the northwest for the next couple of days. This thing is really going to weaken as it comes on in here. So we will see some clouds spill in tomorrow and for Friday. Can't rule out some isolated showers Friday, better rain chances back to the west. And we may see a few showers here Saturday, but this thing is really going to fall apart. So we don't really envision any major problems from that system coming on in. Right now in Tupelo, 68 degrees. Look at that setting sun. It will be very nice. I think we'll have a nice colorful sunset in Columbus with some of those cirrus clouds, 68 degrees as well. Louisville, Mississippi, 71 degrees. And for you in West Alabama, at Vernon, Durham's Pharmacy here, 67 degrees, a great afternoon. We mentioned the higher clouds. You just saw them with the sky cams. There they are. No moisture in those. Nothing that will reach the ground. So some of these will spill on into the region tonight. Lows will be into the low to mid 40s for our day tomorrow. Temperatures back into the lower 70s. Some clouds and some sunshine. Tomorrow night, clouds thicken a little bit. We may see an isolated shower early Friday. Can't rule out an isolated shower during the day Friday. Most spots will stay dry, but our temperatures should perk back up into the middle 70s. Rain chances minuscule here Friday and the Saturday. Higher odds as we get into next week. You can see that with our AccuWeather 7-day forecast. So temperatures warming back into the 70s here. 74 Friday, 76 Saturday, around 80 Sunday. Looking like a very nice day for us. 70s and lower 80s next week. Scattered showers and storms possible Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Stay tuned. More of the show after the break.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
If you could define your time at WCBI, what were some of the biggest things that happened during your time?
Two things, and one wasn't necessarily a time-defining moment, but it's a moment that still impacts me today, and that is when State's star point guard from the Final Four run, Marcus Bullard, got sentenced to the penitentiary. And we went down to Gulfport to cover that. So here you have a team fresh off the Final Four, and all of a sudden Richard Williams, the head coach, is on the witness stand really pleading for Marcus Bullard not to go to prison. And it didn't work. The judge sentenced him to really hard time. Being in that environment and seeing how serious that was and how somber that was and the stakes that were involved, one of the reasons I chose to make a career turn and go be a lawyer. So that really stands out in my mind. The other thing, just from a big story standpoint, was the 1999 U.S. Women's Open hosted by Old Waverly. Old Waverly hosted that event, and there was a huge ramp up to that event, and WCBI just went all out for it. And they did sunrise on set out there, midday out there, 5 and 6 out there. Mark and I were out there. It felt like 20 hours a day that whole time. And to see that event be planned for 6 months in advance and then culminate during that week in West Point, Mississippi, that was really cool.
Chris, with that second story, brought up some definite memories of, because covering golf at that level was something that I had not experienced prior to that. So that was a whole new experience, a learning curve in regards to how do we cover this event, because it's more about the area and the pride of hosting a major championship than it is just about covering the golf itself. So that was intriguing as well. So yeah, that comes to mind definitely as a learning experience.
I came in, or I was there during a really weird time. And the reason I say that is because Twitter didn't start catching on until late 08 and 09. And I actually remember the day I signed up for Twitter in December of 08. And that kind of leads to, another moment that I had, and this involves Will, actually. The day that Sylvester Croom got fired, we're still somewhat before social media at that point. And I think it might have been the only story I was actually able to break. We broke into programming to say that Sylvester Croom had been let go. Or resigned, I'm sorry. And I remember calling Will that Friday, like, what do I do? I don't know how to handle this. Kind of give me an idea of how you would do this thing. That was difficult. And then I started using Twitter a couple of weeks later during the coaching search, because there was a Friday night, and I believe it was the first Friday in December, where someone from a station in Jackson incorrectly reported that Chris Peterson had been signed to a 4-year contract. Oh, wow. And I saw that on Twitter and went on live at 6 and said, look, this is a statement from Boise State right here that's saying he hasn't signed anything. And then a week later, they hired Dan Mullen.
I remember to this day, I went home for dinner. Obviously, my wife now, we lived together at the time in Columbus, so I went home for dinner, and then the Hugh Freeze thing came down. And that was one of the biggest. My wife, we talk about it to this day. I sat down for dinner, and I went, I have to go. And like the plate was just still sitting on my table, and it was just like I had to leave and go.
You bring up the story on Hugh Freeze. I was sitting on the train leaving the Chicago Cubs game at the time on basically my summer vacation. And when that happened, I looked down at my phone and I uttered some obscenities that I have still never said ever again to this day. But at that moment, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So immediately I called you. We tried to get everything together. I will say to this day, I'm really glad I was not in Columbus for that, and you had to deal with everything regarding that, because just the toxicity that came from it, the negativity, just everything that came down on Ole Miss and from Hugh Freeze regarding that is something that, I mean, I will never forget. I still remember after that, the big story that came out that I was the first one to break was Jeffrey Simmons being on video punching that woman. I was the first to get that video. I was the first to put out that story. I broke that story when it happened, and that was a national story. I still remember when that happened, like, you had to tread very cautiously because Jeffrey and I actually became pretty good friends when he was a football player at Knoxville County. And to this day, not everyone is going to fully understand everything that went through it, because once you kind of rip open that Band-Aid again, you kind of expose that wound again, and then you have everyone who has an opinion wanting to bring their opinion into that situation. So I don't think anyone is ever going to fully comprehend everything that transpired with Jeffrey Simmons, but I think we see how great he is now with the Titans and how he really reshaped his image and how he became such an incredible young man when he was at Mississippi State.
Otherwise, here for the next few days, no complaints. We're looking pretty good for tomorrow. 71 degrees, mid-70s Friday, Saturday. Perhaps a few isolated showers. Your Sunday, 80 degrees, partly cloudy. A better chance for some showers and storms Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But in all of this, we don't really expect any strong to severe storms as of yet. Always good news, Joey, as we are now into a busy severe weather month.
Yeah, definitely. When you hear no severe weather in April, that's a good thing.
Always a blessing.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.